here's the tokelau that I know. Everyone is cared for. Everything's free. For example, there's the hospital, the health is free, the school is free, education is free, and everything else. If you go out fishing and you catch some fish, you're not expected to give your neighbor some fish, but it's just part of life. You just give it for. It's not an obligation. It's just part of life, eh? Yeah. I think that's a culture that's still strong and alive. And our parents used to give us hiding, bad hiding, and there was a massive upbringing for my generation. But then the difference is this new modern way of thinking that the rights of the children or the abuse of the children is wrong. A lot of our young generations are playing up. They're not as respectful as my generation was, because their way of thinking is from bringing the outside views that they have the human rights and all that stuff. I mean, we're not abusing. I mean, I'm doing exactly what my parents did to me, to my children. Yeah. Like I'm giving them a punishment, but not abusive punishment. Yeah, when it's due near, I get them talk, but then there's a limit to how far they can push us. Yes. But over here in the modern westernized world, you're not even allowed to lift a finger to your young ones, And I think that's one of the differences in our cultures.
Do you think these influences from Western ways have an effect on your culture?
A lot,
yeah.
a lot of influences.
Because even though, I'm sorry, how do you pronounce it, your country?
Tokelau.
Even though Tokelau is quite distant from
the world,
from the world, and also from the U.S. and surrounding Western influenced countries, how does this influence still reach Tokelau?
Well, a lot of our young generations would rather go out and then come back when they're old, when they grow old into middle ages, like over 40s, 50s. That's when they start to come back, yeah. And then we've got televisions. We don't have a television station, but we have a cable from Fiji. We don't have a radio station, but we can get stations from Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, and we've got the internet. We've got movies, and I know that some of our young ones hack a lot of movies from the net. So there's a lot of ways that outside influences the Tokelau, and those are just a few. Because myself, I went over to New Zealand and I lived there for a while, and that's where I met my wife, and she was born in New Zealand. She's a New Zealand born, but she's a Tokelauan. So she's got the Western ways, and I've got the Tokelauan way. So and then we're both staying over living in Tokelau with our children. All of them were born overseas. Yeah. So it's that's another way of getting the influences from the outside. Yeah. So sometimes we have an argument, like how to bring up our kids. Sometimes she uses the island way and I use the Western ways. Like, hey, don't touch the kids. Yeah.
My mother and father are the same exact way.
Okay. Yeah. Tokelau is a stress-free, and I'm telling you, Tokelau is a stress-free island. We rule the time. The time don't rule us. Outside Tokelau, you have to be at a specific place at a specific time. In Tokelau, if we're there, we're there. If we're not, we're not. Okay? Our time starts when the sun rises, it finishes when the sun sets. Everything is simple. You wake up, there's food on the table. I mean, there's food on the, outside the door, there's coconuts, there's breadfruit, bananas. 3 steps away from your house, there's the sea. Yeah. And it's free. You don't pay rent, you don't pay bills. There's no school fees, there's no petrol. We don't have roads, proper roads, but it's like a footpath, really. And yet we've got every other amenities in like outside here.
I admire how, though, it's very
Simple.
It's simple and stress-free. You know, the connection of everybody and the survival. It's not a worry.
No, survival is not a worry.
Yeah.
Because we are such a very tiny population. Where I come from, the population is about 300 something. So everybody knows each other, yeah? And everybody knows when someone is in trouble or someone hasn't got any rice, any sugar. Somebody else would know, and they would always bring something. Or you can just call out to your neighbor, hey, can I have a cup of flour? Yeah, everything is free. Because there's a saying in our island. It goes like this, he hoa lava. It means he hoa. It's you can't see, it's like no man is a mountain. It's like that. There will always, you need somebody. There will always be somebody because you need somebody.
Yeah.
He hoa lava.
That's a beautiful quote.
Yeah, it's like you're not alone.
Yeah.
You're never alone. Yeah, there's a saying in Kabbalah, he hoa lava. Because everyone is being provided for, everyone is being cared for. Like in Tokelau, we don't have any old people's homes. You know, they stay at home. Even my children, my oldest is is 20. All my kids are staying with us, and yet they don't want to leave somewhere else. They'd rather stay at home. But the only thing is you have to have an open mind. You know, accept things as they are. Yeah. Not as how you want them to be. That's it. What you see is what you get. That's it. There's one religion in our island. It's a Catholic church.
Okay.
And they came last year. We celebrated their 150 years. Last year.
So how does the Catholic Church influence Solo culture and
the culture
and vice versa?
Okay. Before, when I was young, when somebody does a speech, they will always say, "Oh, excuse me, the elder." Whoever's oldest in the gathering, he is always the main person in that gathering, and he will always acknowledge their presence. But now we always acknowledge the whoever, it's either the priest or the catechist or whoever holds a title in the church. So we put the church in before our culture, and everything else is go hand in hand, kind of, you know. But the thing about the respect your elders is always there. But then we always put even if the priest is younger than the oldest person in the gathering or the meeting or wherever, we always was acknowledged their presence before that.